So at the beginning of Shemos, Moshe kills an Egyptian, and then the next day he went out and the two Jews were fighting. One guy puts up his hand and he says, "Why are you going to strike him?" And his friend said to him, "Who made you a ruler over us? Are you going to kill us if you kill the other guy?" And it says Moses became frightened and he said, "Indeed, the matter has been known." So V'yar Moshe, there was Yira for Moshe. So Rashi says K'pshuto. Now, what does Pshuto here mean? Means that he was afraid. He was afraid here that Moses was afraid the Pharaoh will kill him. And Rashi doesn't stay with that pshat, and he again goes on and says the Midrash that he was worried that the Jews were informers and they had Lashon Hara and they're not fitting to be redeemed. Now, why did Rashi not go Kupshuto? Because Moses didn't do anything about this fear. He should have run away, but we do see that he didn't run away until later. So therefore, the Kupshuto, this Yira, had no effect on him. So therefore, he goes on to Umidrasho. However, in this area of Kupshuto, what exactly was Moses afraid of? So we need an explanation. What happened to Moshe's bitachon? Why did he not just trust in Hashem and that everything's going to be okay? What is this Yira? So we have the idea that someone is not fitting because Mokom maybe that he will come to some type of einish, some type of punishment on his deeds that were not good. So since you did a sin, since you did something, maybe my sin will prevent God from running my life in the way that I see fit, and therefore there's a Yira because of my bad deeds. So therefore, what is the yisoid of bitachon? So the chayva of bitachon that we are commanded is not just the prat, this idea that the emuna, that everything is in the hand of Shemayim and HaKadosh Baruch Hu will be chan v'rachum. So the idea that God's running the world, we don't need this idea. We have a chiyuv of emuna. We have to have emunas in Hashem. That's one of the 6 temidios. So why we have the fact that God's running the world is we don't have a specific chiyuv on this, but the chayiv is that it's the avodah by itself. That the idea of that the man will rely and he will lean on a Kadosh Baruch Hu until he will throw on God all the matters of his world. Everything will be in the hand of God. As it's written, throw your burden onto Hashem. Because you don't have anyone else to rely on other than God. So Zeh Gufa Yisod, this is specific it that of his bitachon, of man that a Kadosh Baruch Hu will do good to him, the toiva nira v'nigla. It's a pure good. It's not just good that you can think about and say, "Oh, God's doing good, but maybe punch me in the face." No, it's toiv v'nira v'nigla, even if you're not roy lechesed zeh, and that is the emuna. Now, this does not mean the parish is not that you will just have this emuna, that sense that the chesed of Hashem is without any hagbala, without any restrictions, whether he's fitting, whether he's not fitting. Therefore, I will receive everything from Hashem without any avoida, without any effort from myself. Rather, that the bitachon is that the avoida and that my effort in my nefesh, and that will bring the chesed Hashem that is coming as it comes out from my own service and my own efforts of man in my bitachon in Hashem. Through that man is soymech be'emes. So again, gamzula toiva, but I don't really believe it. So you have in the mirror that they have, I just learn and God provides everything for me, and then as soon as the doors for the food open, I run in and take as many tomatoes as I can get because I'm not sure that God will provide to me enough tomatoes with 3,000 people trying to eat them. But everything is good, and I really believe that God, I don't need to have my parnasa. But it's samach ba'emes. That this is the avod itself. The emuna, the avod is in the emuna itself will bring out that everything is in Giloy and Tov, and therefore, as you strengthen your emunah in Hashem, so therefore the revelation of the Chesed and it's good, whether you're a good person or not, whether you do bad deeds, you can have the emunah even though you have bad deeds, because it's the avoda in your work and in the depths of his nefesh, only on a Kodesh Baruch Hu alone, until that he doesn't worry whatsoever, because this awakening itself. This is it, this awakening in your emunah, in your work, in the works of God from this hanhaga with Him in this way. So you live in your life with God in this way, and therefore everything will be good. And this is the idea and the manner of the commandment of having betach in Hashem and having emunah in Hashem, that the man needs to throw on God everything, and it will be good for him. And the toiv nira v'nigla, it's a pure good. And after he's soymech and he relies only on a Kodesh Baruch Hu alone, then God will work with him above of the Mida Keneged Mida. So the fact that you're not entering into the world and saying, well, since I do this, this will happen. If I kill someone, then I'm going to get into trouble. But you're beyond all that. And it says, no, I did the right thing by killing the Egyptian. So now God's going to take care of everything. It doesn't make any sense. So therefore you go beyond the Seichel. And therefore beyond the Seichel will happen to you. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu will keep him, be rachem on him, also through the cheshbon that is not fitting. So again, it's not roy. It goes beyond the physical, what should happen physically. It goes beyond this, and therefore it'll be good for him in a toiv that's nira and revealed specifically. So now, of everything we've said above, we can say that is the kavanah of the pasuk in our parsha in Shemot, that it talks about the fear of Moshe when he heard from the Ivri, "Are you gonna kill us like you killed the other guy?" So according, based on what we've learned in the Midas on how bitachon works, the bitachon itself will bring and cause the Yeshua of Hashem. Again, the bitachon, the fact that you're working on your bitachon and that you're relying on everything on Hashem, something doesn't make any sense. If you did something, whatever, don't worry, God will take care of it, everything's going to be good. So when you work on your bitachon like that, in a way of emes, so therefore that will change the world down here. And through this, then you will hear the lav that when a man doesn't do this, and therefore it will be because of the cheser in his bitachon. And therefore when you worry about something that you've done, that God isn't going to come out in a way that appears, it's nigla and it's obvious of the good of Hashem. So therefore you're going to be lacking in this, and therefore the world will go in the way that you don't want. And that is what it says, V'yar Moshe Yizachei Noida Hadavar. And therefore, so we have in the Psukim that the pasuk straight after this Moshe, we see that V'yishma Pharaoh as a davar, and then he wanted to kill Moshe, and then Moshe fleed. So again, this is the thing, that here you have the Yira up here, but there's no fleeing until Pharaoh heard about it, and then he wanted to kill Moshe, and only then he flees. So here, once we have the Yira, then that causes Pharaoh to hear. Because if Moshe didn't have the Yira, so then the world would work out completely differently, and then Pharaoh would never have heard. He would have got away with it, and there wouldn't be any problem. So that this, so from his bitachon in Hashem, therefore this pasuk would never have happened. But because of the Yira, and therefore he didn't have the avodas in there, so therefore the next pasuk happened, and therefore he had to flee. So there's a follow-on in the psukim. So since Moshe was Yira lenafshoi, and he wasn't batach in Hashem, that he wouldn't bring any hezek chas v'chalila from his actions and his good stuff to hagen on the Jews. The sense that he killed the Egyptian, he did it in order to protect the Jew from the Egyptian because he was hitting him. Reizeh Gairim, that was the Gairim. That's why, because and that's the only reason that Bishma Pyro. Because if he didn't have this Yira and he had Batach Ba Hashem, Pharaoh would never have heard, and therefore he would have to come out the Hoitzrach, and therefore he has to flee from him. So in the brackets, maybe you can say that that's the diak in the Lashon. It says Vayomer, and Moses said, because it's not just that Moses thought, oh no, we're in trouble here. That this is the Magdalod Yoiter, because of the chesron of his bitachon, because it wasn't just that he was in a machshava, but it was also that it came out with his dibur. But that's not true if you were bitachon gaimer bar Hashem, that you completely put your trust in Hashem. Again, like a slave that's stuck in a dungeon, the only person who can help him is his master. And it wouldn't have any doyeg whatsoever, any worries from the matzav that he would find himself in. Again, he did the mitzvah by killing the Egyptian. So bad things look like they're going to happen. You knew this is all God's problem. He's going to take care of it. Don't worry about it. So now, you see, once the Noida Hadavar, once it's out there and it's in public, it's possible that it will come to the ears of Pharaoh. So what's going to happen? Either Pharaoh will hear about it and you're in trouble, or Pharaoh will hear about it and doesn't care, or Pharaoh won't hear about it. So how the world is going to work out will be based on your bitachon. Because that's gufa, the poil, that's gufa, the avoidus in Hashem, that hadavar nishchach. So how will it be forgotten? Just with your Batach Hashem, God will take care of it. Don't worry about it. And it'll be tov for him in a toiv nira v'nigla, and it will be. It's not a toiv that he has to go in hiding for 20 years. No, it's a toiv that's nigla. It's revealed and it's good. And from this we find Maisa B'poel that man is paige and he meets with these problems in his shemiras and Torahs and mitzvahs. He has to know the bittul of these menias, the things that are preventing him and that are stopping him, are toli bo min hagasoy, that your whole life it is based on you and in what you do. You control your life and nobody can stop you doing what you want to do or what you need to do. It's all based on you. It's all about you and no one else, and any excuse in which you have is just you excusing yourself, but it's not true. It's that a kol toli boy, it's dependent on you and what you do. Because if you have a bitachon gomor in Hashem, that He will help and it will be toiv until that is the menucha gomora belishum doe klal, so that you are living that menucha. And you're like, listen, it's God's problem. I don't know how it's going to work out. That's God's problem to work out how. I've got there's blood all over my hands, but I don't know how God's going to work out this. That's His problem. It's not my problem. It's going to be good. And there is no fear whatsoever. Your heart doesn't skip a beat. You are completely sure that God's going to take care of everything. That avodas itself will make everything good, and vad zayin good will be good for you, because that is the poil, that it will be bottle all the preventions and the things that are stopping you, and it'll be good but poil mamish. Again, not just in idea, or that someone broke his leg, gamzula toiva, no, he won the lottery. But toiva nira v'nigla, in the eyes of man, below from 10 tefachim. Again, this is not in the realms of God, but in the realms of man. And just like in the Gulas Mitzrayim, it says in the zechut of bitachon that that the Jews were redeemed from Egypt. So too in the Geula, the last Geula, the coming of the Mashiach, and then that will be in the zechut of the bitachon of the Jews, that they will have this bitachon in Hashem. And God is going to take everything. God going to take care of everything. Mamish. So this critique, if you can call it, of Moshe has been prefaced on the words of the Midrash. On the pasuk that Yaakov had Yira, and Pinchas b'shem Reuven, there were two people, a bitachon, a Kodesh Baruch Hu, and then they had fear. Haboicher sheba'avos, haboicher shebeneviim. Haboicher sheba'avos, that's Yaakov. So Yaakov and Moshe both had these Yiras. So in the end, they feared, and Hashem said to Moshe, don't fear. Now there's a maklokas in the Meforshim as to how to understand this Midrash. So some of the Meforshim say it's a praise of Yaakov and Moshe, and even though they had the bitachon, that they weren't soimech on this promise. Out of fear, however, there are Meforshim that the kavan of the Midrash, ein lil mod mehem, sheharoi shelo leira. So on this one side of this, so it's the maklokas how to understand the Midrash, and then from the Midrash we're only on the Kipshuto in the language. So according to the second Pshat of Rashi, in the Midrash there, that he wasn't worried that something bad would happen to him. He was worried about the Jews. And then even in the Kipshuto, that there's two ways to understand either he was good for having Yira or not good to have Yira. So we're bringing out just this way how to live our lives from this way how to understand the Midrash.